Good afternoon, everyone. Now we are going to talk about the forms. In every HTML, what is the use of forms now? We have seen so far about tables, paragraph, then division, hyperlink. But suppose we have something, we want to send some data to the server or some data to the provider who is providing the services through the web page. Like Facebook, you are using sign up. Gmail, you are doing the registration. When you are login, then how that, or suppose you have some inquiry, then how you are going to reach to the provider? That means you are going to fill the form and then you are submitting your details, whatever the required. The forms can be any variety, either it's a registration form, either it's an inquiry form, either it's your login form. So whatever you are going to use, where this you are going to submit some request, when you are going to get the request, then in that moment you have to use forms. So what is the form? Form provides the user with alternative way to interact with the web server. As I mentioned, you have to interact, right, with the web server. That means web server will be some XYZ location. I have some query, I have to submit this inquiry. Okay, I want to know, okay, what is the subject? Suppose you want to pursue your MTech, or suppose you want to do some advanced courses which is online, and you have some query you want, right? Then, and the number is not from India, it's outside of India. Then how you are going to interact with those people? To interacting, they will be giving the form. You can submit whatever, that means you are going to interact with the web server provider. That's why we are going, that is the use of forms. Up to now, what we have seen, we have talked about the hyperlinking, clicking hyperlinks. What is the use of hyperlinks? Hyperlinks only will communicate from one link to another link, right? And using with help of this was only mechanism available to user for communicating with the server. So earlier when you want, you can easily click on that and then you can just jump from one to another, but you cannot communicate, you cannot send your request, your inquiry to the server provider, right? That's why we have to use here, that is the forms. Forms provides as much richer mechanism. Why it is mentioned as a richer mechanism? That means it gives advanced features where you can interact, you can submit your query. That is for the form. What is the now forms? Forms provide the user with the alternative way to interact with the web server, as I mentioned the first line. Then these forms will provide, as I mentioned, richer mechanism. What are the rich mechanisms we have? That is text input. You have some input, that is the text you want to submit. You want to fill some password, you can fill the password. You have some options list, like you are going to select option 1, option 2, or you will be having radio and check boxes. How you are going to use this? You cannot use without forms. That's why it's called as rich mechanism. With the help of this, you can submit, these are the requests to the web provider. What will the form structure? The form structure in HTML, as similar, you have used the table or you have used the list, same way it will be there, but you are going to use some special HTML elements. What HTML element we will be using? We will be using here HTML element as a form. Whenever you want to create the form, you have to use the element that is called as form element. So what is the form element? This is again, it is the container tag or container element. So this container element will contain other element, like as you have seen the table, you can also use option box, checklist, whatever you want you can add. So various elements you can add as an input within the form. Even you can put as a paragraph, you can use as a text, and other HTML also you can add into the form structure to design. What will the form structure? Here you have very simple form structure. You can see here, I want to create a form. Then what you are going to do? You have to use the element I said form. I will be giving form. Then you have to type method. What is the meaning of method? you have to type method is equal to get or post. There is two methods are there. One is get, one is post. Get, what will happen when you are submit the request, that means it will show in URL, it will show your request. Post, it will submit your data. Next, action. Action is equal to, that means where it is going to process. This will talk when we are going to learn the PHP. Action, that means what you are going to do action on this form. When user hits on submit, you can see this form here. The users when click on submit, the details what action is going to perform, that action you have to define here. Then I am defining this action as a process.php. You have to use here some server side scripting, either PHP, and if you are using PHP, then .php server side. If you are using Java, then .jsp will be coming. If you are reading .net, then it will come .aspx. And further with the details, like I want field set. I have field set some details I am giving. I am creating label as a title. Now I am giving an input type. Now when you need a text box, so far we have not discussed about the text box. This text box will appear in the form. Then when you want a text box, then you are going to as a element as an input type. You have to type is equal to what? So type is equal to text. The moment you type the text, whatever you are going to enter here, it will be visible. If you change this type is equal to password, what will happen? It will show in a star format. It will not show the details. And name, you give some name. Name is equal to title. Now paragraph is closed. Open another paragraph. In the paragraph, I am going to select country. So you have to define the label. Then you are going to, now when you have the drop down, when you want a drop down on the form, that is called as selection. How you have used in C, C++, Java as a choice selection based. Same thing in HTML form, it's called as a select. Then you are going to use select. Name is equal to where. You are going to just define the name is equal to somewhere. And option you are going to define. What are the options? Choose a country. You can give option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. 4 options you are defining. And after that you have opened the select case. You have to close. You have to open the paragraph, close the paragraph, and finally submit. And after that you will be having a field set. You will be defining these things, and at the last you are going to close the form. The moment you close, that means the same way, this is your container tag. Now we have closed it, and now you have to create the, you will be able to create the form. This way the form will be created. Now you have something, how the form is going to interact with the web server, how it will be happening. You can see here the point number 1. You can see the point number 1. Here you have users, that is you or me or XYZ person. So what happening? You have a form, right? Then you are going to give the request. We are giving the request. It will go to the web server where it is server is located. The moment it get located on the server, that means example you opening google.com. That is also a form where you have the search box. The moment you give the request google.com, it's come to the server and the result page will appear for you. This is the result page. That means the browse, you are going to browse the HTML document which having the form. Now what you'll do, the moment it appear on your screen, you will be start typing. I'll be typing on this. The moment you type, the result it will be display. Now again you are going to send request to the server. Now again we will be sending, because we have filled the data and this data is going to be submit. Now the moment you click submit, again it will go to server, wherever the web server located. And that web server, again it will be having some storing purpose. That is the, in PHP, whatever you are using, either PHP, JSP or .NET, anything, that request will goes to the web server and it will process and it will again give you the back the result, because you are not going to see the get the result back, just you are submitting, so it will be submitted, and that's all. This is the how the form actually works. Even example you can see, the moment you use your opening google.com, what is there? this search box, this is also called as form only. How you will find out this is the search, it is the form or what it is there? For any web page, just right click and click on inspect element. The moment you click on inspect element, you will be able to see you can see here in body tag, see here input. Okay, you will find here definitely there will be the form tag will be there. If you go through this code, you will get to see here, this is the are you able to see, guys?